answers. Okay, so I'm going to start out with a question, especially for those of you that like to talk all the time. Do you know, how many of you were in kindergarten? Sam?
But I'm 6.
You're 6? Hey, that's cool.
I'm 7 on Easter.
Congratulations.
I'm 7 too.
Awesome. Do you know what that word kindergarten actually means?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
It means that you're not in preschool, but you move up for when you're 6 or you're 5.
It absolutely does. But you know what? The real word kindergarten, it means child garden, kids garden. Did you know that? In German. Who knew that? You knew that? Good job. Okay. So isn't that kind of funny? People in a garden? Have you ever thought about that? What would people be doing in a garden? But I understand you had Farmer Andy come and talk to you guys a little while ago, right? That is awesome because some of the things he talked about, I'm going to also talk about. Do you remember something that he talked about called the 3 sisters?
Yeah.
Yeah? What are those?
Squash, I think.
Yeah, you got
corn and an apple tree.
Well, that's very close. It's actually, here, I've got the seeds right here so we can kind of pass them around and think about it. They are corn, beans, and squash, right?
I didn't see them.
Hey, I like squash.
You like squash? Awesome. Well, we're going to talk about all of these, so that's okay if you didn't see them.
I'm growing sweet corn in my house.
Awesome. Well, you know what? Let's think about this. So what does corn do? It's really, what? It's pretty tall.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And what do beans do? Does anybody grow beans ever? What do they do?
They just grow.
But do they kind of flop over if they don't have something to crawl on, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Or if they don't have much water.
Or if they don't have much water. That's right.
Or
Water, yeah. All that stuff is important. What do beans do? Can you guys think of a way that beans and corn might work together? Because corn is tall and very strong.
The bean grows around it.
You got it. If I had a gold star, I would give you a gold star. That is awesome.
I know how it works because the corn, when it grows, there's like a stem, and sometimes the corn seed will come out.
Exactly.
And it will pop open because I have one in my house and like a egg carton from one of my friend's house when we were doing it. And it may grow non-stop until it dies.
Very cool.
It doesn't grow up to the ceiling. It grows until it dies. It will just keep growing corn.
It sounds like I'm gonna keep this in mind and come back to you because it sounds like you have a lot of skills with gardening.
Well, I'm gardening in my house.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So maybe you're going to know this. Beans have a special skill, and they're a little harder to see than corn. Do you guys know what beans can do that neither squash nor corn can do? Anybody?
Be squished easier.
What is it?
Be squished easier.
Be squished easier?
Be squished.
Well, that is true. That is true. That is not what I've got in mind, but that is absolutely true.
The beans have different. The thing does not pop out with the bean seed up. It goes down.
You guys are so observant
Plus,
and creative.
it goes down.
You've been observing your beans, and that is awesome. But so this is kind of tricky, and you might not know. And honestly, I didn't know unless I read it in a book. They can get nitrogen out of the air.
Oh, I know about that.
You know about that? Okay.
Because my friends, I just.
There you go.
I do too.
And so usually, a lot of people will go to the store and they buy it at the store to get nitrogen. But beans, they can just grab it out of the air and then they feed it to their other 2 sisters, the corn and the squash. Okay. And then squash, this one is a little bit maybe easier to imagine. How does squash grow?
It goes under.
Under. Exactly. So kind of. You didn't grow squash? Okay, so it forms sort of like a mat, right? It's
oh yeah, it's like that, and it goes down, and then the squash is popping up.
Like potatoes.
Yeah, exactly. They're low to the ground.
Yeah, and then under the ground.
This is so cool that you guys already got some lessons on this, or that you're gardening at home, because this makes it so much easier.
I'm only gardening
I get to help my mom garden.
That is awesome.
Mom can't get a farm.
Okay, let's practice raising our hands now because we have some people raising and they're waiting very patiently.
Waiting very patiently. What is your question?
Farmer Andy gave us beans and tomatoes.
That is really cool. He is a nice nice man. He's
Oh,
a
I know.
friend of mine.
Wait, Winston, you didn't wait to be called on, and Sam's been waiting for a while. Okay?
Okay.
Can Sam go first?
Sam, can you go first?
Oh, it's gone.
You had to wait too long and now you forgot. So I think Winston was next.
Speaking of tomatoes, my grandpa grows the tomatoes in his garden, and they just go up and up and up until the tomatoes go. But and then we're sometimes gonna grow carrots, but carrots, what you eat is actually the root
Yes.
of it, and then you pull out of the ground and it will keep growing. Then you put the seed down, and then you eat the root
And
actually
do you know
of the
you can
carrot.
eat the tops too? Did you know that? Yeah.
Yeah.
You can eat them like parsley. Did you remember what you wanted to say? Okay.
Me and David are growing tomatoes, and David just had one tomato.
Wow.
Nice.
That's David.
That's
He's
David.
with me.
He's with you. And David, do you have a question?
Yeah. Last year at my old house, we were growing sunflowers and tomatoes, and our sunflowers grew over our house, and the tomatoes took up all the room.
Oh my gosh.
Over the house?
You guys sound like amazing gardeners.
No, the tomatoes took over the garden.
That's awesome. How about if we let her talk a little bit more? Because she's not going to get anything done
Yeah.
before she has to
The
go.
funniest thing is, this talk is not even really about gardening. It's about how people can kind of look at what plants do and figure out how to work like they do and cooperate. So can you understand how the three sisters, like all three of those sisters, would thrive better planted together than one whole crop of corn? You know, because usually if we're driving around, that's what we see, right? We see fields of just corn or fields of just soybeans, and those are called monoculture. But the thing that I want to kind of talk to you about, it's called permaculture, okay? So we're going to just, if you can hang on for one more second, we're going to have such a fun, interactive exercise, so I think you're going to have fun. So diversity, have you heard that word? Diversity just means different. If you got a lot of things planted in your garden, then that's sort of protective for all of your crops, and it actually makes them a little bit more successful because bees are going to be able to pollinate when some are flowering at different times. If you got, you know, everything all popping at the same time, or there's like one beetle or one pest that can get into that crop, it can take down a whole field. But if you have diversity, that really makes you strong. And so people being diverse can also make us strong. Do you like games? Will you guys play a little game with me real quick? Yeah? Okay. It's pretty fun and you can keep snacking, so it doesn't
All right, good. Mine.
You already finished yours? Okay. So this is kind of fun too. Like, do you ever make a list at the holiday time and or your birthday and you say, oh, this is what I want? Okay. Well, I'm not Santa Claus, so I can't necessarily bring it, but I want to ask you, let's do something that you really like to do first, and then I'm going to ask you what you want, okay? So we're going to just kind of be patient with me. This is going to tie back into that garden thing in a minute. But what I really like to do is I like to show kids how to learn about wild edibles. Things that grow in the wild, not even in your garden, or maybe they're in the garden and you think that they're weed, right? But there's some things that you can put on a bee sting, you can put on poison ivy, or that you can even eat, and they're safe and they're good for you.
There's some weeds that you eat.
Yeah, exactly. So would anybody like to play this game with me? Yeah? Okay, so, first hand went up, I'm going to throw this to you.
And I got one more question.
Cool. Now you hold on to that. Can we play the game for a little bit first, and then we'll have some questions? Okay. And now, David, right? Your name's David? What kind of things do you like to do?
I like to find dinosaur bones.
Find dinosaur bones? Oh my gosh. I would like to do that. Who would like to find dinosaur bones with David?
I already had finding dinosaur.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you get to pick who gets the string. Okay, now you hold on to it too. Okay,
That's what I thought.
you hold on to it, and I'm going to keep holding on to it, and we're going to make
Hold
a
on
bet.
to it, David.
And
And then you
Iris?
take it, Iris.
Iris? Okay, what do you like to do?
Do crafts.
Do crafts? What kind of crafts?
Like the necklaces and
Ooh.
stuff.
That sounds fun. See, I'm resisting the urge, like, I want to do that too. These all sound good. So who wants to do necklaces or crafts with Iris? Who would enjoy that? Okay, so Iris, pass it to somebody that hasn't yet gotten the string yet.
Hold on to the string.
Hold on to it.
Do you want to do it, Sam? Would you like to do that?
You want to do it, Sam?
I'll do it.
Very cool. And here's the fun thing.
No,
We're
I'll be
gonna-
last. I want
Just hold it.
I want to
You want to hold? Okay, so Sam, what do you like to do? I know you like to talk and ask questions, right? What else do you like to do?
I like to explore the water and find fish bones.
Okay, the water and find fish bones? Who would like to do that with Sam? Okay, how about down at the end?
hold
Because
on to
they
this.
haven't gotten it, so hold on.
Hold on to that.
What a cool web we're making. It's sort of like a crazy spider web, right?
Here you go, Violet.
There you go. And what is your name?
Wyatt.
Wyatt? Nice. Okay, and Wyatt, what do you like to do?
Puzzle.
Puzzles? All right. Who would like to do puzzles with Wyatt? All right. Why don't you pick somebody that hasn't yet gotten it? If they're okay, right next to you.
Okay.
What do you know?
Hold on to it here. Okay.
And now, what is your name?
Silas.
Silas. Okay. What do you like to do?
I like to go outside and play on my swing.
Oh my gosh, that sounds fun too. These all sound really fun. Kids are so great at thinking of fun things. Adults need some help sometimes. So who would like to go outside and play? Oh, you got a couple takers right there. So how about somebody that hasn't gotten it yet? There we go.
Hold on to this.
And what is your name, sir?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I knew that. And Winston, what do you like to do?
Play video games.
Okay, so who wants to play video games with Winston? Everybody. Okay, so how about somebody that hasn't gotten it yet? The person right next to you here has not gotten
Your
it
brother.
yet. And what is your name?
Benji.
Benji? And what do you like to do?
Play video games.
Oh my gosh. So there are other people that want to play video games.
I
All
want to play video games.
Okay, it looks like everybody with their hand up has already gotten it, so you can give it to anybody. That's okay.
She doesn't like to play video games.
Yeah, you don't have to take it if that's not your thing.
How about you, David? You want to hold on to this?
And let's find
Hold on
out,
to this,
young
Benji.
lady. What do you like to do?
I like to play outside with my dog.
Okay.
Oh, that's exciting.
So would you like to play outside with your dog? So how about giving that to her?
Hold on to this.
If you guys both like that, then there we go.
Are you
So wasn't that fun? We got everybody in the web. Isn't that kind of cool? And so now this is kind of a fun part. How do you feel right now? Do you feel happy?
Listen.
Do you feel happy? Like maybe you would play a video game with somebody that you hadn't thought of playing it with, or maybe you'd do a necklace with somebody that you didn't know wanted to do your necklace, right? Isn't that kind of cool? Do you feel kind of fun right now and like there's a lot of possibilities? Okay, we could keep doing this over and over and over, but we don't have that much time.
Oh, I have
So-
one more.
Oh, but wait, this is also fun.
But wait, there's more.
So now we're going to start with what do I want? All right. So before I said this is what I like to do for other people, and quite honestly, all these things that we just said were so fun that it's like there's almost no difference, right? But
Can I say the last one?
yeah,
Playing outside with the wild cat that comes to our door every day. That's nice.
that's what you like to do.
No, she's actually really nice.
That is very cool. See, we can find so many things that we love to do. So here's what I need help with. All right, I compost with worms. Have you guys ever heard of that?
Yep.
Yeah.
I eat worms.
You eat worms?
Roasted cheddar cheese worms.
Do you eat the worms? Wow.
I ate them all for some
Really?
reason.
Okay.
I did one. I almost grew up.
So here's, oh my goodness. Well, don't eat mine because they make really, really good compost. So compost, have you ever heard of that?
Yes.
Yeah?
We used to have a compost farm.
I know.
You can smell it if you want, and you can even see the worms.
Does
But-
it smell good?
Yeah, I think it smells great. So pass that around for a second. And what I would love to do is get more kids helping to compost waste with worms. Because you know,
Why is there bugs in there?
because they have a whole community that comes with them. Remember when we talked about diversity?
No, Sam, we're not.
Worms don't do great if they're just worms. Like they need a whole, like, you know, bunch of organisms that come around with them to help them break down things like
Is
coffee
that
filters.
where worms are?
Pardon?
Is that where some worms are too?
Someone
like
In the coffee
No,
Sam.
not yet, not yet. They're all in there. I haven't fed them this, but do you know what this is?
What?
Dryer lint.
Oh, I had that we had to throw out today.
They eat, but you
Sam.
know what? Worms can eat it.
Thank you.
Worms
So
can
you can
eat
layer
it.
out paper or something or something.
Exactly.
It's actually good for the
It's
environment.
actually good for the environment. Exactly.
People, but it's still littering.
So what I would love is to find kids that wanted to help, you know, get stuff out of the landfill and make really good stuff for your garden that you could help, you know, your corn and all those other great things that we talked about grow. Would anybody enjoy doing that? Or if you don't want to make compost, maybe you would just help me scoop up the finished worm poop
I didn't see the
and
wall.
put them in these worm tea bags.
There's
Well, this is the worm poop, but it doesn't smell like poop. You want to try? Here. It doesn't smell, does it? You can pass it around. It's worm poop. I know. Fun to say poop around kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the deal. Some people just think worms are yucky and they don't want to do it. But if I can find kids that would help me put the worm poop in the tea bags, then people can still put that in water. They can make something called worm tea. You don't drink worm tea. Anyway, well, I think you guys kind of get it, don't you?
It sounds like nothing.
Exactly. It doesn't smell gross at all, but if it was garbage and you let the garbage just rot without the help of the worms, then it would smell really
Winston.
yucky. Yeah? So, I think I'm going to go to my next thing, because I think you guys are like, you get this game, right? You kind of see how it works. Okay.
Do you want me to wind it back up?
That'd be great. Thank you so much. So here's what I want to ask you guys, is do you think we would remember all that stuff that we just said? Would we remember all that? We wouldn't, right? Because that was a lot of stuff that we just talked about. So I run this thing called a time bank. Have you ever heard of a time bank?
Yeah.
You have? Tell me what you know, because I'm so curious. I want to hear what you know.
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it does or anything.
Okay, well, because it sounds a little crazy, right? Like, what do you usually put in a bank? Right? Exactly. And so, you know, you don't see even too many people wearing watches. You don't see people wearing watches too much these days, right? Because everybody's looking at their phone. But how do you put time? How do I put time in a bank? How does that even make sense, right? It doesn't really, that's not very easy. So here's the thing. What we do with the time bank is we could write them on a piece of paper and say, hey, I want to play video games, or I want to play with the cat that comes, or I want to make necklaces. And we can put it on paper, but what we actually do is we have some software online that helps record what people are willing to do for one another. And then you can look it up along with your parents and find out, hey, this person is willing to do this for me. So guess what? I was wearing this today. I had it on my way out the door. I noticed I had a big hole in it. Now I can't see it. Do you see a hole in my clothes?
No.
Good. You do? There's a lot of little holes, right? But I was like, you know what? I'm going to wear it anyway because I want to remind the kids not to throw away your clothes. Like there's somebody in the time bank that will sew your clothes if you don't know how to do it. Or they'll teach you to sew if that's something you want to do. So
I somewhat know how to sew.
you somewhat know? That is awesome.
I know how to sew. I can even make knots and I can sew them.
You guys are so talented. You are truly amazing. Yes,
I can
ma'am.
crochet.
That is great.
I'm hand crocheting.
Maybe you can help stitch it back together or something.
I hand crocheted scarf.
So this is kind of weird, but instead of actual time, what I'm going to do is, there's a woman in the time bank who actually has sewn my clothes, right? So she took an hour of her time to mend my clothes, sew on some buttons, she made some curtains. So she would put 1 hour in the time bank, and her name is Pat. So Pat puts that in the time bank, and then Pat says, now I have an hour stored away. And here's the cool thing with the time bank, I'm not the one that has to pay her back. Anybody can pay her back. So if she wanted to do any of the things that you guys just said that you liked doing, like finding dinosaur bones or making jewelry, I think Pat would actually really like to make jewelry. She could say, great, I want to spend my 1 hour making jewelry with Iris. Would that be cool? And now guess what, Iris? You now have an hour that you put in the bank. And then you can take it out to use your hour doing whatever you want to do. Isn't that kind of fun? So there's so many ways to be rich. It's not only money. Like you can actually bank time, and you can do it as kids. You don't have to be an adult. You just told me all these things that you're great at and that you love to do. Does that sound kind of fun?
I love kittens.
You love kittens?
Even though he's allergic to them.
Really?
I have a cat that
It's hard coming back after Good Friday.
Guess what? My mom's allergic to kittens too.
You know what?
My mom is too.
My husband is too. So not everybody can do everything, but I want to ask you if any of these things sound fun. Staying in a log cabin?
I go to a cabin on vacation.
Do you?
Summer.
Well, we have somebody in the time bank who has a log cabin, and she lets kids or families stay there for time bank credit. So if you helped a bunch of people make jewelry, or if you helped a bunch of people find dinosaur bones, or if you guys did any of those things that you said you were willing to do, you could bank hours and then you could stay in a log cabin. All right, and then what's this? Sailboat ride. Has anybody ever been on a sailboat?
No, but I would be.
I have been on a sailboat.
It is fun. It's so
I've been on
I've been on a
some.
motorboat.
You ride in these logs.
I have been on two
in the
sailboats.
water, so it's kind of like.
I've been on two sailboats.
I was so.
You were soaked?
And I
Yeah.
was really freaking out. Because
What?
that was when I was like.
You were brave. Well, we have somebody in the time bank who has a very large sailboat, and he's a trained captain in the U.S. Coast Guard. And he is a wonderful guy. He likes to take families out on his sailboat. So you could earn sailboat ride for your whole family or some friends out on Lake Michigan on a sunset cruise this summer, just by like maybe helping to rake leaves or helping to put worm compost in tea bags or doing anything. So you could have that if you wanted. What else do we have? Baking a cake.
Oh, my grandma's making a
Does anybody would you like to get a cake that somebody made for you?
Baked 200 things with
Irish.
my mom.
See, so you can see how people really know how to help each other. It's just like we don't talk about this all the time, so we don't know. Yes, ma'am.
Wyatt's mom is a cake baker. She
Wow.
made a cake for my birthday. And had
Wow.
it was like funny and it was like good.
Silas.
And then trying to draw my name right
Very
on
cool.
an egg.
So it sounds like you guys are doing a good job, and you're already
My
very
grandma made
good.
me birthday cake when I was 7.
Isn't that fun? You feel
Yeah.
really special.
Janet
But
made
let's
me a
say that
birthday.
you banked hours. You could say, hey, you know what? I want a cake for no particular reason.
I don't think that's what
It's
caused
one of
it.
the things that you can have. So this is kind of crazy. I thought of this today, and I'm calling this, I'm going to call it friend medicine, okay? Friend medicine. Because if you feel sad, like, gosh, I wish I was hunting for dinosaur bones right now, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know where they are. I could have a friend around this table that knows how to do it. So here's what I say. Warning, time banking may cause you to make more friends, increase happiness, save money, and make you trust people. Check with your doctor to find out if time banking is right for you. That's silly, right? Because are any of those things bad for you? Making more friends or saving money or trusting people? No. But so many times...
Hey, you get money for doing it?
No, but you could save money. You could save money because if you were gonna buy a necklace, but instead Iris was like, well, I have everything. I have beads or I have things that I found in nature and we're gonna just put these together. You have lots of them. There you go. And so if something actually costs money, then you would pay her if she had to buy beads. But there's a lot of stuff that we talk about.
You have to raise your hand.
There's a lot of stuff we just talked about that doesn't involve money, right? And so is anybody in scouting or your brownie or Girl Scout or anything like that? Have you ever heard that song? It goes,
More like 4-H.
4-H, okay. There's a song in that group that I remember from when I was really little. It goes like this. Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other's gold. So it doesn't cost money and you don't make money, but friends and all the things that we just said that we would, be able to give one another and we would be delighted. You guys were so happy when you were saying, oh, I want the yarn. I want to go dinosaur bone hunting. I want to do this. It made you really happy, right? So what if you could take that with you, once you grow up and you're my age and people forget to do fun things like hunting for dinosaur bones? Yes,
What
ma'am.
do you do?
What do? I kind of do this. That's a great question, though. I will answer that because I think what I do, I've always thought it wasn't related, but I am a social media consultant. So it's mostly for businesses or nonprofits, and I help them find people online that are interested in what they do, okay? So that does have money involved sometimes, but to be real honest, I like the social part of it way more than the media part of it. So ever since I got involved with that 9 years ago, I've been thinking, how can we do this just to make people happier without it having to be a business, without it having to be official? Like, how can we just work with one another?
Did you create the time bank?
I did, yeah.
How?
How? That's a great question. There is free software actually called ourworld.org, and if you go to Our World, and that's with an H, so do you know how to spell hour like an hour of time? Okay. And then do you know there's another word, hour, that means it belongs to us? You know, like our time bank, right? So it's H.
A homonym.
A homonym, yes, man. Oh, I love words. That is wonderful. Yes, it's called ourworld.org. They give us free software, and anybody can go on there, join, and then you can start listing what you like to do. So that part's actually easy. The hard part is getting people to understand it as well as you guys have done. So I'm really hoping with this video that some adults watching listen to the wisdom of these kids and how easily you got it. I mean, do you think that you would have more fun if you could just go outside or make a necklace and then you could get a sailboat ride, or you could get, you know, a cabin vacation or something like that? Plus, the lady with the cabin, she also has a swimming pond and horses that you can also ride. I don't even know if I said that. It is so fun. It is so fun. Yes, ma'am.
I have a pony.
Well, see, maybe you would even let people ride the pony. I don't know. Maybe that would be something you would offer.
He's only a little guy though.
The possibilities are endless. They really are endless. And I have no idea how much time I have because I'm not wearing a watch, so I can...
You have about 10 more minutes, but and you can talk about the food swap too.
Okay.
Just because we do have some farmers in the...
Good. Okay, so, you know, you asked me how I started the time bank, and I said the software, but really the thing that made me want to start the time bank was something called a food swap. Have you guys ever heard of food swap? It's a little different.
It kind of sounds like face swap.
It sounds like what?
Face swap.
Face swap? Like swapping on photos? Well, it's totally different than that. So some of you, you said you grow vegetables, right? Or you grow fruit. Do you ever have just like so many tomatoes that you can't even eat them all? Does that happen? Or zucchini? Sometimes, yeah. And you're like, oh my gosh.
Sunflower seeds.
Sunflower seeds, exactly.
Well, I eat sunflower seeds.
I love them.
And that's wonderful. It's like you can eat whatever, you know, whatever you can eat that you grow is great. But sometimes you have extra. The food swap is a great place to bring that, because just like time banking where you don't charge money, here's how it goes. Like, I don't know, we can pretend that we've got food. What kind of food? Are you going to bring those raisins to the food swap? No. You would, okay. Well, here's the thing also. The food swap, people bring food that they either grew at home or they found in the wild. So like if the people who have done this wildcraft thing, they might even know how to just go out and recognize food on the sidewalk. There's all kinds of food that's actually very good for you. Some of it's better for you than stuff that you find in the supermarket or that you made. And made can be anything. It can even be a salad. It can be, you know, something that you just put together. It doesn't have to be cooked. It doesn't have to be elaborate. But we're having one on Sunday. We have them at the Art Barn. Have you guys ever been to the Art Barn in Valparaiso? It's really fun. They have classes for kids there.
Is the one with the cow that you can ride or something?
What about Valparaiso?
Well, we don't have food swap there, but that is a super fun place too.
I love it. I'm gonna drop on my face.
You guys have some fun. I like that.
Guess where I live? Valparaiso.
So do I. So do I. So at the Art Barn in Valparaiso, that's where I'm going to be on Sunday. It goes from 3 to 5. Right now it's every other month. And what you do is you would bring food that you either grew, that you wild crafted, or that you made. You baked, or you put something together at home. And then you set it up just kind of like you would at the farmer's market, but instead of people selling, you would say, hey, Iris, I would give you 1 jar of blueberry jam for that loaf of bread that you baked. Are you interested in that? Okay, so we would have a successful swap. And, people bring all different things, and then you leave with totally different things that your neighbors made. And it's really fun. It's a great way to like meet your neighbors and try new foods and just, you know, again, you make new friends and you, I don't know, you just got to try it. Do you think any of your parents would be interested in any of this stuff? Not so much?
Yeah, because my dad had lots of work to do it.
Well, am I allowed to give cards out?
Sure.
I would love for you guys to contact me or give this to your parents, and I can tell you about Food Swap. I can tell you about time banking. Take one and pass them around.
And this one's just for you and me.
Thank you. You're saving a tree right there. And so I did bring some other stuff too to talk about, but I don't know if we'll have quite enough time. Mr. Sam.
And you can also roll one by and pretend the table is
Can you throw one in my bag?
And then the combine rolls over the coin, and then
Just throw
it's
it
all corn or beans or whites.
Yeah, and with permaculture, you don't actually even need a combine. It's a little more manually intensive, but it really does well. So I'm thinking I want to use this time to just see how well we did. Can you guys look on that card and tell me if you recognize anything?
Mine in the backpack.
Okay, that's all right. Can you recognize anything that we talked about? There's a little yellow stalk. Do you know what that might represent?
Corn.
Yeah. And then there's, let's see, there's a little thing up at the top that kind of looks like a pod. Do you have any idea what that might represent?
A heart.
Let me give you a hint. Does it look anything like that?
Yep.
Wait, let me see.
See it?
Beans. Beans, exactly. And then admittedly, this is a pretty stylized representation, but there's a little leaf there that's kind of down at the base. What's the plant that we talked about that represents?
Squash.
Exactly, you guys are good. And then can you see those like skinny little brown things? They're kind of twirling around the stalk. Any idea what those are?
Weeds.
I'll give you a hint.
Worms.
Exactly. Did you guys actually see the worms in here? Did you know there's real worms in here?
Yeah. I want to see that big one again.
Yeah, they're a little shy. They're a little shy. They like to hide under the paper. So be nice.
Do they like you?
They like me. Yeah. We go back years and years. I'm a worm farmer.
Yeah, they're part of what makes it work.
Well, that's a good question. I don't know exactly.
Does he have names?
I don't name them because there are literally thousands of them in my worm bin. I just took a few to show you guys today.
How do you keep it in that little bin?
Well, they're not going to stay in that little bin. That was just for their travel day to come out here.
Cute. I love worms.
And you know what?
Where's the big one?
They can eat their body weight every single day.
You can eat yourself? That's
No, a pound of worms will eat a pound of food garbage. Or it's not really garbage, it's worm food, right? So doesn't that kind of have more meaning for you now, this little logo? And then what about the name, K-3? Do you have any idea where that came from?
I think probably all 25 years old.
I don't think they're that old. Do you know what the word thrive means? It means like to do more than just